Hello, viewers of Spell, and welcome to the Spellry. I have a new microphone, so this will sound a little different. It'll probably sound a little different for the next couple weeks, and then I should have a stable voice, because I'll have to adjust this. But, without further ado, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will be doing What If Midoriya Was a Jedi? So, grab your popcorn, and we're off. Midoriya would have a nightmare. He would see red lightsaber blades and death. He would wake up tired. He put this off to nerves. After all, he was going to UA today. As he went to UA, he would get there and be a little lost at first. Just the sheer size of the building. As he would eventually find his way to Class 1A. As he approached the door, he would think that, man, this is just one massive door. Do they have, like, giants inside? But as he got closer, he would hear two voices he recognized arguing. One was the boy from the entrance exam. The other one was Bakugo. As he let out a long breath, he was hoping that... He knew Bakugo had gotten in, but he was hoping Bakugo wouldn't be in the same class as him. As he opened up the door, sure enough, those two people were arguing. Bakugo seemed to look at him like Midoriya was some weird unicorn. Well, Ida approached him and said, "I'm sorry for being so rude to you. You were able to divine what the meaning of the test was, and I didn't." As Midoriya just put up his hand and said, "No, I just did what I thought was right." As a blonde girl and a brunette would walk up behind Midoriya, as the brunette would say, "I know that messy hair." As they would introduce themselves, the brunette would introduce herself as Ochaku Uraraka, and the other one would introduce herself as Toga Hagakure. As she just said, "You can call me Toga." As Midoriya, being overwhelmed by the fact he's actually talking to two girls, would be a little flustered. But a second later, he would notice, he would sense something a little off. As he turned around and saw this weird caterpillar-looking creature. Turns out it was his teacher in a sleeping bag. He would introduce himself as Aizawa, their new homeroom teacher. As Aizawa would tell them that they're going to have a quirk evaluation test. Aizawa would tell them to put their PE uniforms on and meet him outside. A minute later, they would be changed into their PE uniforms, and Aizawa would explain to everyone how this was going to work and what a quirk evaluation test is. As he pulled Bakugo aside and have him demonstrate how far he could throw normally and how far he could throw with his quirk. This would surprise everyone, and someone made the mistake of saying this would be fun. Then Aizawa would simply say, "You think this is fun? The person who gets last place is going to get expelled." Everyone would be shocked. A couple people started saying how it wasn't fair. As Aizawa said, "Our villain attacks fair. Our natural disasters fair. You're not going into some easy desk job. You're training to become heroes. It's your job to fight this unfairness." As the entire class, you could almost hear them all gulping. As the test would begin, All Might would actually be watching from the sidelines, a little concerned that Izuku will get kicked out, considering All Might was trying to figure out the best time to approach him about being his successor. As the activities would go, pretty much exactly like in canon, Midoriya would do actually fairly well compared to in canon. And if anyone's wondering about Mineta, he's vanished. Yep, Toga took his spot. As things would start winding down and Midoriya would throw the ball, he would get a little bit further than Bakugo, using the force to launch the ball out of his hand. Aizawa would find Midoriya being a curious case. He kept getting the sense Midoriya wasn't showing them everything, or that Midoriya was keeping some sort of secret. But Midoriya passed with overall average, as Togo was actually the one who got the last spot, which surprised everyone, even Aizawa. But Aizawa would feel that it was all a ruse for them to show what they could do, particularly under stress. And as someone said, "Yay, no one was going to get expelled," as Aizawa corrected him. "I would have expelled you if you showed no talent. Everyone here shows some skill, but UA is going to be a tough school. It's likely if you don't keep improving that you will be kicked or fail." As everyone just said, "Yes, sir," since no one wanted to test him. Bakugo would approach Midoriya and ask him how long he was hiding his quirk. As Midoriya said, "Well, do you remember? I said I awakened it." As Bakugo says, "Bull. I've seen you use your quirk. You have way too much skill for this to be a new development." As Bakugo would walk away in a humph. Aizawa taking note. The following days would be pretty simple. But then Aizawa would come into class one morning and say, "There's a big decision you guys as a class need to make," as everyone was at the edge of their seats. As Aizawa said, "Who's going to be your class representative?" Everyone let out a sigh of relief. As this would go very similar to in canon, with Midoriya getting a majority of 4 people to vote for him. And Midoriya himself would be surprised at this. With Yaozu, I have trouble pronouncing her name, would be vice president. As the day would go on, Midoriya would start feeling a disturbance. He had seen all the reporters outside. They've even hassled him to get in. Apparently, the fact that All Might was a part of this new teaching staff was big news. But Midoriya started feeling a malice in the force. He couldn't nail it down. As the alarms would be tripped. As this would begin a panic. As Midoriya would see that it was apparently the reporters who had managed to get past the gate. He tried signaling everyone, but no one was listening. Ida quickly came up with a plan and told Uraraka to touch him, as she made him float. Midoriya would see this and realize what the plan was, as he used the force to push Ida to where everyone could see him. Ida would help calm things down, and Midoriya would actually suggest that they make Ida the class representative. Like in canon, no one would really have any large-scale complaints. But as the day ended, Midoriya would not be able to get the sense that it wasn't the reporters. He had sensed malice and a darkness. As the UA staff looked at the main gate that had been destroyed, it was decayed. As Aizawa says, "Who's the intruder?" As Nezu corrected him, "He thinks there were 2. Aizawa would be so surprised and said, "What makes you say that?" As Nezu said, "It's mostly just a hunch." As he looked at a door into the building that was cut with what seems to be some sort of blowtorch, but it was much hotter. Perhaps a quirk? And wasn't this decay? As that's where we're going to leave it. And yeah, mostly adjusting this for release. Forgot to add a couple things. So, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I am going to be getting through this. I'm going to try to get through this early UA stuff fairly quickly because I want to get into more interesting stuff that doesn't really fit this early in the timeline. So, this will be your Spellry signing off. Hope to see you around the channel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Commenting does help the channel, along with likes.